All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting smartphone. It's an unusual smartphone. It might be a smartphone that you've never heard of. Well, it's from a brand that's a little lesser known right now. They're called Redmagic. They're part of another brand of smartphones, Nubia, but this is the gaming-centric, gaming-focused brand within the brand. What you need to know is that this smartphone in front of me has some features on it that I've never seen in a smartphone before, and most importantly, or at least the thing I'm most excited to check out, the display. 144 hertz on a smartphone display. I thought we were done at 120. Of course we're not done, because gaming smartphones exist, and when gaming exists, 144 hertz exists. Will I be able to notice a difference? I don't know. I've been using 120, of course, on the latest Samsung stuff, so I'll do a comparison. This is the new Redmagic 5G. Look at the unboxing experience. My goodness. Cyborg status over here. Back of the package, Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, 5G built in, 6.65 inch, 144 hertz AMOLED screen, turbo fan liquid cooling. There's actually physical fans on the inside of this smartphone. Sony 64 megapixel ultra wide triple camera. It has gaming shoulder triggers built right into the smartphone, so it doesn't require some kind of external attachment. There is an external attachment you can get for it if you want actual tactile buttons, but this has touch-sensitive shoulder buttons similar to a controller. We're going to test those out too. Esports-inspired RGB strip. Gaming stereo DTS 7.1. Now, you know I love to test the audio on smartphones, so we'll do that as well. DDR5 RAM plus UFS 3.0 storage and a 4500 milliamp hour battery. Now that's the only kind of surprising spec. If you're going for the powerhouse status, if you're trying to say we get the 865, we get the 144 hertz display, you're gaming your lights out, you might want, I don't know, a 5000 milliamp hour battery. But whatever, I'm nitpicking. It's got some cool specs. Now this one is Eclipse Black in color, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. All right, let's get this Ghost in the Shell type of cyborg, type of anime situation off the top. And look at the phone, Redmagic 5G. And you can see it's got the gamer aesthetic going on, as you'd expect in a device like this. You have the red and the black and the gray. It kind of reminds you of a sports car or something. And here at the top in tiny little lettering, it says powered by Nubia. So again, a sub-brand of Nubia. Here is the triple camera setup, a kind of small little setup, not extending too far outside of the shell of the smartphone itself. And then the 5G indicator. This Redmagic logo in the center, that's actually going to glow. There's also some paperwork in the package. SIM card tool is in there as well. A black and red USB cable, because it's got to go with the whole, I mean, check it out. You have to have the whole aesthetic going on. Black and red in the cable in the phone. And then the last thing in the package is going to be this power brick. This is an unusual phone. You have this X on the back, this sports car style of design, and then things get even more strange as you flip onto the side of the unit. You can see here, you have this grill in an unusual place. No, it is not a speaker grill. This is an actual exhaust area for heat, because the phone is running hot. Well, it's trying not to run hot, obviously, but you're gaming a lot and it's heating up and you want it to continue to perform at its top potential, so this has extra cooling added. And it's not just on that side, it's going to be over here on this side as well. So both sides have these vents and actual active cooling that you can turn on or off. When I get into the settings here, I'll show you how you can do that. On this side, you're also going to have your volume up and down. You're going to have your power switch, and I kind of appreciate the fact that they moved it down the chassis here. Since it is such a large phone, it's a little easier to reach. You can also notice your shoulder buttons up here on the top, touch sensitive, little grooves in there for where you touch, and you'll just be holding it like this when you're gaming. This could be cool for games like PUBG, shooter games, also racing games, I suppose. You put your accelerator over there and so on, and you can actually map these things. So if you're wondering, hey, does a game support this? When you start the game up, you pull down a little software indicator of the area of the screen you want these shoulder buttons to activate. So if there's a button down in the bottom right corner you want to have mapped to the right shoulder button, you can do that. Left shoulder button, same story. Bottom of the device is going to have your speaker port as well as a USB Type-C connector. This is also where you're going to insert your SIM card. And then on the top, believe it or not, you're still going to see an analog headphone jack. This is probably a feature that's important to gamers out there. They want no latency, no lag. They want to plug a headset in, so they've included a headset here. There's this port. This is going to be utilized for certain accessories, controllers. There's a dock, actually, that's going to use this particular port. And then at the top here, this is your game mode switch. So all you're going to have to do to pop into game mode is just switch this over, and then it's going to enable all kinds of various settings that you might want while playing a game, like the ability to quickly disable phone calls, put the phone into 144 hertz, and so forth, whatever settings you want with one switch, which is kind of cool because on mobile games, you might not have that much time to go in and reconfigure each time. So as far as unlocking is concerned, there's an in-display fingerprint scanner. Now, I want to show you something real quick with the screen, with the display. By default, the 144 hertz is actually not enabled. You have to jump in here and head over to screen refresh rate, where they kind of warn you that if you are going to utilize 144 hertz, then be aware you're going to drain even more battery. Now, normally I would think, hey, you should have this thing in its top potential spec straight away out of the gate. But I actually don't mind this in this particular scenario because they do have that game mode, which can shoot you straight into 144 hertz. And on top of that, you're not going to even be able to take advantage of 144 hertz in many, many apps. So I kind of understand it. But of course, for the purpose of this video, we got to check out the 144 hertz. The screen picture is smoother. They say silky smooth, in fact. What can I say? I mean, can I notice a difference 144? I don't really know. I think when I head into the settings here, I mean, it's very smooth and very snappy. You pair 144 hertz with Snapdragon 865 and you're in business, obviously. But it's going to be, I mean, I'll just, for the purpose of it, since we're here, I have an S20 Ultra sitting here. So why don't we do the same thing? Just jump into settings real quick. Okay, settings, both phones. Get the focus real quick. Settings, both phones. Refresh race. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to tell the difference. One thing that's obvious to me here, having these two phones side by side, is the fact that this one is actually surprisingly bright. It's about as bright as the S20 Ultra, and also it's almost the exact same form factor as well. Now, granted, the S20 Ultra, no top bezel, very little on the bottom. You have the single little hole punch on the top. You're getting a better screen to body ratio, obviously, on the S20 Ultra. How much that matters to you? I mean, it's tough to even cross shop these phones since the target audience is a bit different, though I guess a lot of gamers would be interested in the S20 Ultra. But I have to say, just the screen in general, from a brightness perspective, it's comparable to me. It depends, of course, on which frame you have open at a particular moment and how bright that frame happens to be. But I would say, certainly when you're looking at icons at full blast, they're very similar from that standpoint. Anyway, I'll get the S20 Ultra out of here. Now, one of the things I'm excited about on here is the audio. Apparently, they paid a lot of attention to the audio. It's best taken advantage of inside of the game mode. And since this is such a gaming-centric smartphone, I think we should just jump in there right away by clicking this tiny little red switch up at the top. And boom, just like this, you catch the animation, Redmagic. And this is where your games are going to live, along with the various settings that you have for those games that are inside of this game mode. And then you see a little indicator in the bottom left for your cooling fan and a button for your dazzle light. If I flip this around real quick, you'll see the Redmagic logo there is actually already glowing. Now, a lot of the magic happens when you swipe in from the right-hand side. You can see your CPU clock speed, GPU clock speed. You have a bunch of different settings here for the fan, for the screen refresh, whether or not you want to block calls, messages. You can turn on 4D shock, which is supported in certain titles, PUBG Mobile included. There's just a bunch of different gaming-centric settings that you can have within this game space that can automatically load when you click that simple button right there, or it's actually more like a switch. Same with screen brightness. You can have everything. The screen brightness goes up, the fans turn on, the refresh goes up, and your calls get turned off all within one click. Oh, and by the way, the cooling fans actually work. So if I put this up to my ear, I was curious at first. I was skeptical. I was like, is that real? And I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it or not on the microphone. I'll give you a chance at it. I mean, it's very unlikely you can even hear it, to be honest. It's super quiet, but there is a kind of like a small little hum to it, which indicates to me an actual physical fan in there blowing a little bit of air out, giving you that high clock speed on your Snapdragon 865. All right, so let's go ahead and boot up PUBG, and what I'm going to show you here is how you map these shoulder buttons to any game that you want to play. Oh, and by the way, there's an actual rumble to it with the 4D aspect. Wow. Now again, this is optimized. I'm just gonna turn it down for a second. This is optimized for game type experiences, possibly movie type experiences. It's a kind of DTS, it's like a surround type of environment. You're probably not gonna see as much of a benefit on things like music. It'll sound like a more typical smartphone speaker. There's a thick sound. We pull out from the right-hand side and we hit the touch button, and check this out. If I want to move my right trigger over to, say, where the punch is, boom, no problem. Left. Where do I want to put left? Oh, I don't know. How about this other one right here? The other punch. Touch sensitivity, low, normal, high on each one. You can turn the buttons off completely, and you can turn vibration feedback on and off. That's a haptic feedback. And as you can see now, I don't need to reach there with my thumb, so I can keep my thumb somewhere else. Right? I guess on the joystick. I haven't played PUBG in a while. Oh man, I've been playing so much Call of Duty lately that I forgot you can't put your parachute back. It's a real parachute. It's not a glider. So once you pull it, it's out. I totally forgot. Call of Duty got my brain. Am I gonna make it here? Yeah, I'm gonna make it. Okay, cool. Somebody's already shooting at me. That's not good. That's some loud gunfire on there. It's thick. They weren't lying about the audio over here. Is there anything in here? I need to remember how to play this game right now. I got a pan? I got a pan right now? Okay, fine. We'll give it a oh, let's go try it out. I'm gonna die. This guy's really hitting me here. We're gonna try and get him with the pen real quick. Yeah! Yeah! Oh! Oh my. That's not what I expected to happen. Wow. All right. Well, yes, it's the very first round on a brand new account, so I don't know if that's a bot or who that is, but anyway, better chance to hear that audio again. A little more of that tune. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's cool to see some smartphone company paying attention to the sound and trying to give a better experience when you don't have the headphones on. I know most people are wearing the headphones, but sometimes I just don't want to wear headphones, whether it's a video I'm watching or a game that I'm playing. To have that more immersive experience, or at least the option for it, it's kind of cool. So to back out of this mode, all you do is click the switch in the other direction and you're back to a regular phone. The styling is going to be really specific. It's for a particular type of individual. So it's going to be for a particular buyer that's into this kind of aggressive look. I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm just saying that not everybody will be. It's certainly not subdued. It's not making any excuses. It's coming right out front and telling you what it is. It's a gaming phone. We have gaming smartphones now. It sounds good. It obviously games good. One more curious question we have to address, obviously, before we take off. What about the cameras? Now, I know it's not the main focus for a device like this, but you're still going to want to take a picture here and there. So is it going to be any good? I don't know. We'll pull out the trusty remote here and we'll try to capture a 1x real quick. That's a 1x. What else does it have? It has a 3x. It has a 5x. Now, of course, we're into digital land, but actually it doesn't look very bad. Well, I mean, you can tell it's a digital zoom at that point. That one looks kind of usable. You see the texture in the remote control. This one looks really good. Actually, these two look really good. We'll do a selfie real quick as well. Oh, you know I got to turn off the beauty mode real quick. And 3, 2, 1. Even phones where I feel in 2020 where I'm curious about the camera performance, where I'm thinking to myself, man, how much focus did they put into it? Because they don't really have to. But then you remember that so many of these smartphones are sharing similar components. In particular, the camera sensor, which in this case comes from Sony. So it's kind of hard to screw it up too much. In this case, both on the front camera and some quick samples on the rear camera, they look usable. And I think for a gamer, for a person who's interested in this type of power, who's interested in this type of styling right here, and the lighting and the shoulder buttons, you're not starting your journey with the camera anyways. So if it can take some decent photos, that should be good enough. Anyway, there it is, something different, something you might not have known about, and certainly one of the fastest smartphones I've ever tested when it comes to the chip, and definitely when it comes to the display.